In the house, the DA show on 98.5, the Sports Hub. DA, I have to give you credit. You saw this coming all the way last week, didn't you say?
Did I? Yeah,
Cleveland destroying the Patriots?
Right, yeah. I think I predicted a massive blowout victory by the Browns and, Peyton Hillis going for like 200 yards. Yep, that was me. Or I was also the guy that I think said it was going to be a breather of a victory, 10-point advantage.
That might have been the word you used.
On Friday night. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I predicted a Browns loss today.
But you're one of many, I think, that did not see this coming, the way it went down, especially right off the jump. Cleveland just smashed him in the mouth, and the rest was history.
Yeah, I have to admit, I didn't hear anybody predicting a Cleveland win today. What we saw today, forget the Randy Moss stuff. Let's just let that go. It's not about Moss. Today's loss was about a defense that could not stop Peyton Hillis on the ground and could not stop Colt McCoy in the air. And that's a scary thing because McCoy, we know, has only a handful of starts underneath his belt. But what Hillis did today, and not to take anything away from Hillis because he's developing into a really nice primary back, and Josh McDaniels, slap on the wrist. They traded Brady Quinn straight up for Peyton Hillis. You think the Browns got a pretty decent deal there? But the deal today was a Patriots running game. Patriots run defense, which had been pretty stout in some previous contests that they had earlier in the season, could not stop Hillis around the end, up the middle. And when a guy runs for 184 yards on you and has another couple of yards through the air as well, over 200 yards of total offense, you didn't do a good enough job on that guy defensively. It had nothing to do with Randy Moss and the lack of Randy Moss today.
And they picked on the secondary a little bit as well. How much is it the Patrick Chung injury? Or some of these things just kind of catching up with them a little bit and maybe some tread wearing off the tires here is the midway part of the season?
It was going to take a near-perfect effort by the Browns to have done what they did today. So give the Browns credit. I mean, if there was even a handful of turnovers, penalties, mistakes, like we saw maybe the Chargers commit a couple of weeks ago, the Browns would not have won this thing this easily. But, yeah, there's some issues defensively, both in the secondary and the front seven. And I just thought that McCoy and the play calling was excellent. You also saw a few junk offensive schemes thrown out there. The Chancey Stuckey touchdown was a good example of how the Browns will throw junk schemes, junk plays against the wall, and you've got to try to be prepared for it, and it's almost impossible. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. The Joshua Cribbs Wildcat didn't work. The Stuckey play did. So defensively today, I think that was the real eye-opener, that through the air, McCoy seemed to be pretty comfortable, find his targets. They didn't get a really good pass rush on him today either. And frankly, there were some thoughts of flashbacks of the playoff game when Ray Rice, you knew he was going to run it and they couldn't stop it. It felt the same way with Peyton Hillis today. You knew that Hillis was going to run it and they couldn't stop it.
Tom Brady, his numbers looked okay, but even he said in the postgame they just kind of couldn't get anything going. Should we be concerned at all with the way Tom Brady looks, just not necessarily leading the team down to a long-scoring drive?
Sure. I mean, what happened today was offensively also, again, give the Browns defense credit. They swallowed up this offense. And the offensive line, another bad day. And Brady was rushed and Brady was sacked. I think part of this was on Brady as well. I mean, when he had time, I didn't think he was very accurate today. He threw a couple of balls in the dirt. Then he started getting frustrated with some of the wide receivers, the tight ends, understandably so, but I think that took him off his game a little bit. Brady wasn't all that good. His receivers weren't all that good, and they couldn't run the football. I think Ben-Jarvis Green-Ellis, who's really the feature back right now, if you can call him one, had less than 20 yards on 9 carries today, and he couldn't punch it in from the goal line. So offensively, they had some problems. This was not just about, one or two things went wrong and thus the Patriots couldn't win. The Browns did everything they wanted to do, and they did it well.
Bill Belichick is not going to like losing to the man genius. Does this hurt more because he lost to Eric Mangini and because he lost in Cleveland where he didn't have a lot of success in the 90s?
I don't think it really has anything to do anymore with what happened between Mangini and Belichick. I really don't. I was down in Foxborough on Wednesday, and Belichick was asked about it, and he was pretty lighthearted about it. I really don't think that that's really even part of the equation anymore. Belichick will be upset about this loss because it exposes his team. They had been getting through and winning games and finding ways to win without having to look perfect, without having to be perfect. But they weren't beating themselves. And other teams, they were kind of waiting for that to happen, and they would take advantage of it. Well, today, the Browns exposed that against, a Brady-led offense, you can rattle Brady. They show that as good as the two young tight ends are, there are ways to take advantage of a wide receiving core that's a little shaky. They proved you can stop the run against the Patriots again. And they proved that you can run the football against the Patriots. And a young quarterback doesn't necessarily get rattled by what's happening Patriots defensively. I thought today was a really bad day for Matt Patricia and company. And Patricia has earned a lot of applause around here as a young defensive coordinator. Today was not Matt Patricia's day.
So they go to Cleveland and they get walloped. Now they have to go to Pittsburgh, where are they going to go in as decisive underdogs at this point?
I don't know about decisive underdogs. I mean, it's one really bad week. I mean, it's one bad loss, but still, this is a team that's 6-2 at the halfway mark, and they still seem poised for 12-4 or 11-5, I would imagine. So they won't be decisive underdogs, but it's going to be a great battle. It's going to be a great test because a lot of the things the Browns did today, the Steelers can do. The Steelers can get after your passer, like the Browns did. The Steelers can stop your run, which, again, is going to be something to watch over the course of the season if the Patriots can run the football consistently. The Steelers, well, they don't have Colt McCoy. They've got a two-time Super Bowl champion that's throwing the ball, so he's not going to look rattled. And, oh, by the way, they can run the football a little bit in Pittsburgh as well. The things we saw the Browns do well today, the Steelers can do as well.
Before you go, the Bieber-Brady rivalry. It's been renewed.
Yes.
It was on Main Street. We'll have more on that later in the show. This Bieber kid, not only can he sing, but he can talk some pretty good smack as well.
I told you this a couple of weeks ago. I thought the Brady-Bieber smack talk, where Bieber called out Brady's hair in that little rap, was a great chess move by Bieber. It's a great chess move because Brady is then forced to respond to a 14-year-old kid, okay? And if he doesn't respond, we all admit, well, yeah, the hair was Bieber's first. So again, today, chess move number 2, maybe even checkmate. I don't know how Brady gets out of this looking good. Bieber's after him. I think Bieber now is up on the scoreboard 2-0.
I agree with you.
Game, set, match, maybe.
And remind me to grab Justin's CD out of your car before you leave.
Yeah, if you need that, I'm going to burn that onto my iTunes.
Cool. I'll grab that.
Yeah,
All right,
perfect.
Thanks a lot, DA.
Yeah, you got it.
We'll be back with more rap after this.